Hey, what's going on? My name is Chris and welcome to LinuxTechGeek. So today, in today's video, we are going to be checking out a framework called NVCHAD. Now, NVCHAD is a framework for NeoVim, and it just adds a lot of extra features to NeoVim for you, as well as it looks like it's more suitable towards the developer rather than a standard user. But you could use this framework as a non-developer, but it just looks like a lot of the default plugins that it does install is aimed towards the developer in mind. So with all that being said, let's flip over to the desktop. We'll go over the website first, and then we'll install this thing. I will be installing this on my machine. We're not doing this in a virtual machine or anything like that. And yeah, let's get started. So right here, we are on the GitHub page of NVCHAD. Now, there's two websites for NVCHAD. You do have the GitHub page where you can look at the release notes and all that stuff and get Discord information. And they also showcase the actual framework. But there's also a website too. So let's go over the GitHub first, and then we'll go over the actual website. So under GitHub here, they do have, they do have some screenshots of what it kind of looks like here. How pretty everything looks, as well as it looks like it has some kind of like IntelliSense right here, which is pretty cool because a lot of times only your big IDEs have some type of IntelliSense. So right here on their GitHub, they say, what is it? They say, NVCHAD is a NeoVim config written in Lua aiming to provide a base configuration with a very beautiful and blazing fast startup time. We tweak UI plugins such as Telescope, NVim Tree, Bufferline, etc. well to provide an aesthetic UI experience. They also say right here that they lazy load 93% of the stuff. So if you don't know what lazy loading is in Vim, pretty much you have a couple options when you install plugins. You can either have those plugins automatically loaded as soon as Vim pops open, right? Or you can have those plugins not really, they're loaded, but then they're not being used. They're only being like loaded when they need to be loaded. Think about like a module or something for your kernel, right? That's kind of how it works. It's kind of hard to explain, but if you lazy load, you do have a faster startup time. Now, I don't know the benefit of lazy loading versus not lazy loading. I'm not a developer, so but they pretty much say right here, the plugins will only be loaded when they are required to be used for specific commands. They also say this lowers the startup time from like 0. It lowered the startup time, and it was like 0.7 seconds. Apparently, they got the load up time to 0.2 seconds. So that's a pretty big difference. And when they tested this, they tested it on a 1.4 gigahertz machine. So that's pretty good. On my machine, I mean, we could probably get this thing down to, a half a second or something. It's just a startup time. But now this is confusing. I'm reading this. Right here, it says NVCHAD isn't a framework. Isn't a framework. But if we go to the top here, we go to the right-hand side. Blazing fast NeoVim framework. You say you're a framework right here, but at the very bottom here, you're saying you're not a framework. You're a framework. Okay, well, I've seen these things before. It's supposed to be used as a base configuration. But let's look at the plugins, and then we'll go over the website, and then we'll get this thing installed. Take a look at it. So the plugin list is, of course, they got themes. They got built-in terminal toggling. I do like that. That's pretty cool. NVCHAD updater, hide and unhide terminal buffer. Okay, so they have their own like built-in updater. That's kind of cool. It looks like they have their own like UI, like their own user interface, with the status line and the tab line and stuff like that. Oh, they also have a cheat sheet, so I guess for keybinds and stuff. And that's pretty cool. They got NVM tree for file navigation. They got, of course, they got nice icon sets. They do have Git, an LSP configuration with Mason. Okay. Auto completions, syntax highlighting, pretty much all your standard type of stuff. And they do have witch key, which is nice. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to the NVCHAD website here. And as of course, they have a very, very nice website. I will say that. So this thing is aimed to be fast. So they say fast at default, beautiful, highly customizable. It's powered by Lua, which Lua, if you don't know, is a scripting language. I personally don't know anything about Lua, but I'm sure it's not too difficult. They say they got some nice themes. It's lightweight. NVCHAD manages its own theme plugins as well as its own like modules and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. That means that we don't have to, you don't have to update a lot of stuff. You just update their, built-in stuff, and everything just works. And they say it's easy of use. So let's look at how to install this thing. Okay, so they do have some prerequisites. So you do want to have NeoVim 0.83 installed. So let's make sure NVim version here. I do have the 8.3 installed. Okay. They also say that you do want Nerd font installed, which I always use Nerd fonts. If you don't know what Nerd fonts is, just search Nerd fonts there on Google. Pretty much, if you're watching this video, you probably know what Nerd fonts is. And the reason that you need Nerd fonts is because I believe it's because of icons and stuff like that. They also say RIP grip is required for grip searching with telescope. That's optional. Let's make sure that we do have RIP grip installed. So I'll do EIX RIP grip. Okay, we do have it installed there. GCC, I always have GCC installed here on Gen 2. So they do have a git clone, and they also have a uninstall. Now, I don't know if this backs up your old configuration. So if you are watching this video and you're thinking about installing this, I recommend you backing up your NeoVim configuration, because If this thing overwrites that base configuration, then your configuration is going to be gone. Now, I personally don't care. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to remove all the extra stuff that I had installed. That way we can start from complete scratch. So we want to RF. We want to remove config neovim. Okay, that's our neovim configuration. We also want to remove RF local share neovim. Okay, once we have all that removed, now we can copy over this git clone script. Okay, and pretty much this is going to git clone the repository, and it's going to put it in neovim. So we're going to clone it, and let's go ahead and go to a different workspace here. Okay, let me make sure that's nice and big for you guys. It says, do you want to install example custom config? Sure, whatever. And it looks like it is installing everything. Please read the docs at nvchad.com from start to end. That's what they recommend there. All NVCHAD available options are in core default config. Know them. Mason just downloads binaries. Don't expect it to configure LSP automatically. That's a good tip. Don't edit files outside custom folders or you lose NVCHAD updates forever. Okay. So it's pretty much telling you don't edit any of the outside stuff. Only edit the custom folders. Ask NVCHAD issues and NVCHAD communities only. Okay. Read the plugin docs to utilize 100% of their functionality. If you don't see any syntax highlighting, now install a TSP parser for it. Now quit NVim. Okay, so let's quit. Start it up again. And this is pretty much the startup here. I do like the color bar at the very bottom. That's very nice. Let's look at some. Is it should be visual line? Okay, that's cool. So let's hit space. Okay, so space looks like that is the leader key. That's really nice, and you can see which key pops up there. Let's go back to the website here. We'll do post install. Okay, so post install, they recommend going through the Vim tutor here. We don't need to do that. Learn Lua. That's going to take me a while. You should know how to convert a Vim script code into Lua for your config. I'll pull up the documentation, but we ain't doing it. Learn basic Lua. Okay. They got a really nice thing. I mean, this is pretty nice. They have a custom config. And they also have a configuration structure here. So let's take a look at the configuration structure, see how that's all laid out here. Config neovim. Okay. So it looks like they have a init. We can. So that just loads the init stuff and the bootstrap stuff. Okay. They also have a Lua section. Okay, so they have a core, a custom, and a plugins. Let's look at core. So core, they got bootstrap, default config, init, or default config, init, mappings, and utils. Where are they? What's in custom? Custom, they have the CHAD RC. They got highlights, init, mapping, pretty much the same thing, right? Okay, so that custom configs, that's where your LSP server and stuff sets. Let's look at the CHAD RC. So they got themes right here. I want to know how to actually change a theme. They have something called mappings. Maybe that's the key, like keybinds? Mappings? Nope. I cannot read that. Highlights, maybe? Nope. Okay. Huh. Okay. So they say don't edit anything outside the custom thing because NVCHAD won't update. But how do we? This is kind of weird. This is the plugins in it. All right, so this is all the extensions and the plugins. So NVCHAD base 64. This is all the plugins type of stuff right here. Okay, we don't care about the plugins. Let's go to core. Let's go to mappings right here. Here we go. General mappings. If they have a keybind to set the theme. That's tabula or tab UF1. Okay. M comment, LSP. I got a lot of LSP type of stuff. NB tree, okay. Okay, here we go. NVM tree. That C right there, that should be control. So it's control N. Okay, and there it is. On the left-hand side there. Cool. Yeah, that's very cool. Okay, control E, control E. No? N? Okay, okay, cool. So you can toggle it and then you can focus on it. Telescope. Leader FF. There's telescope. Okay. So we can do find files, then follow old files. Pretty much everything. Theme switcher. This is what I was looking for. Okay. Leader PH. Now the leader key, like I said, is the space bar. So space. We'll do T, and then we'll do H for NVCHAD themes. Wow, I do like that look. You can, it just sets the theme as soon as you're going through the list. So you can really see which theme that you really like here. Hey, I really, really do like this. Ooh, I like that decay theme. That is cool. And it looks really nice. It's kind of dark. I actually prefer that over my Dracula theme, which they call CHAD Dracula. To me, it's a little bit more blue than what I really like, at least on this monitor that I'm looking at. That looks okay. And actually, this Capuchin theme, I think I'm saying it right, that looks more like the Dracula theme than this CHAD Dracula. You can kind of see that. And I actually like that one a little bit more than I like the CHAD Dracula one. But I like the Decay one. So there's a Doom CHAD. So I guess that's the Doom theme. They got Everforest. Oof. That's really bad. We're not gonna look at all these themes here, but I do want to go through a couple of them just to kind of see. Ooh, Pale Night looks pretty good. And Pastel Dark, I do like those pastel colors. There's Tokyo Dark. Okay. They got BS Code, which I can't stand. I do like that too, the aquarium theme. Yeah, it looks like the themes here are really good. Hey, you know what? We're gonna go with that theme. Now my question is, how do we set the theme? How do we set the theme automatically? We're gonna have to remember this theme that we just set, and we'll have to figure out how to actually write that theme to get a configuration file here, so it remembers it. We also got NB term. Okay. A, which is probably the Alt key. It says Alt I, maybe? Okay. Okay, cool. Yeah, there it is. I like that. I dig that a lot. Alt I. Yeah. And then Alt H puts it down there. Okay, yeah. And then Alt B, of course, would put it on the side there. And that's probably how I would kind of use it. Probably like that Alt B. Toggle in normal mode. So normal mode would be the interactive floating mode. This is kind of like a scratch pad here built into NVCHAD. So I don't know what they have it marked several times. I don't know. Oh, leader H. Okay. Yeah, I don't like that. Leader B. Leader B. No, see, I don't like that. They have something like right here. They got the leader key as that. I don't really like that. I like using that Alt key to kind of toggle it on and off. So there's which key, of course. So leader W capital K. So leader W capital K. Okay, I like that. Just which key? Leader W just regular K. Okay, so you can type in at the bottom which key is which. Nothing big there. Leader CC is for blank line. Or indent blank line, okay. So there's some get stuff here. Forget signs and stuff. Yeah, and that kind of looks like the end of it there. Go back to the top of the line here. Okay, let's get out of this. Let's look at the default config there, because we need to figure out how to set our theme. Wow, okay. Our theme, you know what? Our theme is already set. Isn't this the same theme that we just had? Because it should be the Warm Dark theme. So space th Warm Dark. See? That's the Warm Dark theme. Space th. Yeah, it automatically kind of did that, didn't it? So let's get out of there. It still has it set as Warm Dark. I don't understand that. Is there another place, I wonder? I want to see something here. Config. We're gonna go custom. Okay. So whenever we just changed the theme, it actually wrote the theme in our custom, highlights config for us. It automatically did this for us. We didn't have to do anything. So you can see right there. So I think with this file right here to my left is this defaults config. I think this is like the bootstrap kind of config. And I think what this is, honestly, is the defaults of it's the very defaults of NVCHAD, right? And this other config to my right hand side right here, this is all of our custom stuff. So whenever we start messing with certain stuff, I think we need to put it in the custom folder here. They did say on our website that you don't really want to mess with the bootstrap type of stuff. Now, you don't really want to mess with it, but they have a lot in here that you can play around with, right? So I don't know if I'm supposed to rewrite some of this stuff, or if I'm supposed to, or if I can edit some of this, like the dashboard here, for instance, right? So let's go ahead and X out that. So they have right here NV-, right? This is a plugin, and they have load on startup. They have it set to false. Why? Like, change that. Change word. Change it to true. See what it does. Let's write it. I don't care. And there it is. Space CH is the map. Ooh, I do like this. There's the cheat sheet. So they did say on their website also they had a nice cheat sheet. Wow, it is really nice too. It tells you everything pretty much that's going on. Yeah, I do like this. And I have to say, can I get out of this cheat sheet though? How do you save file? And I do have to say that this config so far really has been really fast. But one thing that's kind of bugging me is I don't know if I'm supposed to play around. I'm gonna have to read the documentation to figure out if I need to actually, if I need to actually play around with this thing or not. They even have a status line theme. So they have default, VS Code colored, minimal. They got block, round, and block will work with minimal. Okay. Let's do round. Round. Ooh, okay. Round is not an option. Round is not an option. Maybe. Default. Round. I don't know. I might have to play around with this too. I just don't. We're gonna figure this out real fast before I end the video. I'm kind of curious. I don't know. Okay. Separator style. Let's do round. I don't know if that did anything or not. Yeah, I guess it did because you can kind of see, you can see on the right hand side there how it's more rounded right there versus over here where it's kind of a thing. It's more of a block, I guess you could say. Okay. So yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, there's just a lot of things to kind of play around with in here. I could spend quite a bit of time playing with this. Before we end the video, I do want to check on that updater that they did say. So it's called NVCHAD update. Okay, here we go. They're gonna update it, and you can see everything is up to date. And you can also see what's not loaded. So this is that lazy loading. So Mason isn't loaded, right? NV term isn't loaded. Telescope is not loaded. We can also hit I to install here, I think. Update. Cannot make changes. NVCHAD. NVCHAD. I can spell NVCHAD updates, maybe? Okay, let's get out of it. Let's go ahead and just start a blank line here. Okay, that's kind of cool. If I just hit enter, it'll find a thing. How we just start a new. So let's do NBIM. Let's just do a test of CP, whatever. It doesn't matter. You know what? I do like this. This is some C++. And yeah. Look at that. That snippet. It just automatically did that for me. That's really good. And look, it even has my variable. Okay. I mean, I'm just writing not just whatever code, right? Pointer equals, I don't know. Yeah. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. I do really, I do really like this. Yeah, and it was relatively fast too. So, warning: multiple different client offset encodings detected for buffer. I don't know what that means, but okay. Now let's. That's cool. Look, it's even telling me the warnings. That's, you know. Oh, expected namespace name. STD namespace standard. Cannot combine with previous int declaration specifier use of undeclared identifier pointer. Oh. Pointer equal. Don't mind me. I'm playing around. Let's do Mason. Let's see what Mason has. Mason install. Okay. Let's do Mason maybe? There's Mason. Okay. So Mason is how I guess we install like different LSPs and all that type of stuff. If we hit 2 here, so we can see all LSP, and we can do formatters and all that type of stuff. So I got CLang D, that's for C++. That's why I was checking it out there. What about Mason install, and we'll do YAML. YAML language server. Okay. That installed. That's kind of cool. Mason install YAML. How about YAML format? YAML format was installed. That's kind of cool. And now let's open up a YAML file. YAML file is, only one I know is the Alacrity config, right? And we do have tabs at the top here too, as you can see. That's pretty nice right here. So yeah, I mean, overall impressions of this. No, we don't need to save change. Yeah. Overall impressions of NVCHAD. I know we didn't do a whole heck of a lot here. This is just a first, really just a first look at this thing. It's cool. It's really cool. The reason I didn't go over a lot of the configuration stuff, be quite honest, I don't know Lua. Okay. I have not learned that language quite yet, but yeah, give this a shot if you want to check out a new kind of project. And I don't know if it's brand new. I don't know how long it's been out, but it's new to me, so it looks really cool. I wish I knew a little bit more Lua, so I kind of knew a lot more what was going on under the hood. But the documentation here, if we can just, well, let me switch to something here. So yeah, the documentation here is fantastic. I recommend you checking it out if you're going to check out this NVCHAD. It looks like they have just quite a bit of stuff. Custom configs, basic Lua understandings, and stuff like that. So that, that might help. The website is well put together and everything, and yeah, I'm kind of excited about checking out this little project. But before I go, I do want to thank each and every one of you for subscribing. Means a whole heck of a lot. My channel has it's starting to take off a little bit. I'm starting to be a little proud of it. So if you guys have any questions, comments, or suggestions, feel free to leave them down below. I do get back to each and every single one of you. And until next time, I want you guys to take care, be safe, and peace. Bye, guys.